So this video right here, I didn't know if I was going to actually make a pre-recorded video about it or wait until Friday to do my live stream to talk about it. But I said, let me go ahead and just do a pre-recorded video, and then I'll touch on it again on Friday when I get to talking about a certain topic. So in case y'all don't know who this man's name is Albert Bourla, and he is the CEO of Pfizer. The Pfizer who is administering a major massive dosages of this vaccine for COVID-19, especially more so in the American states, the US. And people right now, as we speak, are currently taking the vaccine. We don't know what's to come of it. I'm not willing to take that risk, at least not so soon. But you would think that the CEO of the company would want to try out, and test his own product on himself and even some people on his board. Not this CEO, because according to many sources, including the one I'm going to read from, the CEO of Pfizer, Albert Bourla, says he doesn't want to take the vaccine right now because, and I quote, he doesn't want to cut in line. That is some bullshit. Now you got to ask yourself one question. Would you take a vaccine from a company after hearing a CEO say he does not want to take the vaccine right now because he doesn't want to cut in line? You would think he would be one of the first people to want to take it. And to go and take it a step further, he's even I think he's even, and I could be wrong about this, but we'll find out when I read the article, that he's even advising his executives, like his executive board for the company, to not take it either. So you got to ask yourself one question. Why are you, the CEO, not taking it? And why are you advising your board not to take it either, but make it where the public should take it? Like, what are you talking about? Like, it sounds to me like he's scared of his own product. Now, I bet you this story is not going to travel very far, although it should. But I'm going to go ahead and read this article and see what they got to talk about. Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla hasn't received his company's COVID-19 vaccine shot yet, saying Monday he and other executives will not cut the line as U.S. officials kick off a massive effort to distribute the vaccine across the country. The vaccine, which Pfizer developed in partnership with Germany-based BioNTech, is the first approved for emergency use in the U.S. to prevent COVID-19. The Food and Drug Administration on Friday authorized the vaccine for use in people 16 and older, and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention on Sunday officially recommended its use. However, there are limited doses available, and as such, the CDC has recommended states prioritize healthcare workers and long-term care residents for initial distribution. While Bourla's company developed the vaccine, he is not a frontline healthcare worker himself. He said he's also 59 and in relatively good health, so it's not entirely appropriate for him to receive the vaccine before other people who need it more. That sounds like a cop-out to me. Because I'm almost certain that there are other 59-year-old people who make a lot of money and probably are the CEOs of their company, and they're probably going to take it, or they're going to be made to take it as well. Because didn't some sources say that it doesn't matter what your status is monetarily wise, that you have to take this vaccine? So what makes him so exempt? Because he's the CEO of the company that develops it? I didn't know that, you got special privileges just because it's your vaccine. And besides, usually people who create something, don't you want to test it out first? Or at least in the first set of people to make sure that it works? This, like I said, this sounds like one big cop-out to me. And at this point, no excuse they can give will do, especially now that he's come out and said that he's in perfectly good health. And I'm sorry, y'all, off topic, but them ears, he could beat Dumbo in a sky race. I'm just saying. But let me get back to this article. If he was vaccinated on camera, he said it might help increase the public's willingness to receive it, citing Pfizer's internal research. But he emphasized that none of the executives and board members will cut the line. In other words, they don't trust the shit themselves. They want to see, they're doing like a lot of other people. Why don't they just come out and say, they're not going to say, but I'll say it for them. They want to see all the guinea pigs and all the lab rats get all the side effects from it. That way, it won't affect them, but it will affect them. If it came out and so many people got affected by this vaccine right here, they're going to have all the slings and arrows coming in his direction. He just doesn't want to be the one to have to deal with the side effects. he might as well admit it. He has created something that he does not have 110% faith in working. I'm just putting it out there. Like, that's what vibe I get from that. Bourla also urged Americans to trust science and encourage people to get vaccinated when appropriate based on their age and occupation. Well, this guy is considered, he's 59. Wouldn't he fall into the category of, age-wise for people that should take it? Because they're more likely to catch COVID-19. How he going to give out this advice and you're not even going to take it yourself? Even if it's only for you to take one injection. Just one. He can't even and won't even do that. Neither will his board. Now, I wonder will any of his other employees, like those who are like underlings, regular everyday employees, will they have to take it? That's a bigger question that needs to be answered. This is a vaccine that was developed without cutting corners from a company with 171 years of credentials, Bourla said Monday on Squawk Box. This is a vaccine that was developed in the spotlight in the daylight with all the data being put in a server. Bourla's comments comes as the first deliveries of doses are set to arrive at more than 100 of the country's 636 predetermined distribution sites. Some frontline healthcare workers are due to be vaccinated as soon as Monday morning, and vaccination is set to begin among long-term care residents next week, according to Operation Warp Speed officials. It's a monumental logistical challenge. The federal government has partnered with UPS, FedEx, McKesson, CVS, Walgreens, among others, to help distribute the vaccine and actually administer it. They need to make a stop by his office at the Pfizer building and administer it there. But state immunization officials have warned that the so-called last-mile delivery of the vaccine will be the most challenging, and states are largely responsible for that effort. State officials have repeatedly called on the federal government to provide more funding to hasten the effort. The vaccine could not arrive soon enough. The U.S. is approaching the heart-wrenching milestone of 300,000 deaths caused by COVID-19. Top U.S. health officials, including CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield, have warned that the rate of death is unlikely to slow for months, even as a vaccine is rolled out. That's because the U.S. doesn't have enough doses to broadly vaccine throughout the population of 331 million Americans and needs to prioritize the country's most vulnerable and essential. Alex Azar, Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, which has partnered with the Department of Defense to run Operation Warp Speed, said Monday on the Today Show that the general population could begin getting vaccinations by the end of February or early March. Dr. Celine Gounder, a member of the President-elect Joe Biden's COVID-19 Advisory Board, later Monday called it a fairly optimistic timeline on CNN. Meaning they're not even sure themselves. But yeah, this guy right here says we don't want to cut in line. These were his words allegedly from him and his board. But how are you cutting the line? That you act like it's more of you than it is of everybody else. Like you're just one person. And I'm sure your board it wouldn't take much. It's a cop-out. It's some bullshit. He doesn't want to take it. And like I said before, he's scared of his own product. He wants to see what it's going to do to everybody else first, and then he might take it. Notice that a lot of people who said that they would take that vaccine first and on camera, like 44 being one of them, and I think Mr. Touchy-Feely himself was another, and some others said that we'll get on camera and we'll take this vaccine in front of the world, just to prove that that it's safe. I saw clips and images so far of people taking this vaccine, and neither one of them looked like the people that came out and said that they would be the first to take it. So they were just blowing hot smoke up our people's ass, not mine, because I already knew it was some bullshit. But before I leave this video, shout out to Jay Lethal, because he did a video when he was talking about Dr. Fauci, not to put doctor in quotations around him, especially after what I've been hearing. When he did a video, and I posted it into my community tab last week, where it was talking about how when it came to the vaccine and how black people were kind of skeptical about taking it, and he mentioned something about we'll go get entertainers and rappers and everything like that, something to that effect. And then he said we even got a black African American female doctor to come up with this vaccine or develop this vaccine. And then that's when Jay Lethal had put out past receipts about how that paralleled with what happened with the Tuskegee experiment. They had white men go and find this black doctor who was a woman and dealt with that. And now here you have the same thing happening many years later. So everything is pretty much coming full circle. I don't trust it. And my thing is this: if the CEO of the CEO of the company who has developed this vaccine doesn't want to take it, I mean, cut in line, quote unquote, then why are we made to take it? Like I said, to this Albert Bourla, what are you trying to say here? What are you really saying? It's like I said, you don't trust your own product. So how do you expect others to trust it? And see, a story like this isn't going to get ran on mainstream or lamestream media. And when I say lamestream, I'm talking about on the news, like not just an internet article. Because on the internet article, it's just going to be there, and whoever comes across it will come across it. But I'm talking about CNN's not going to run this. CNBC's not going to run this. MSNBC is not going to be talking about it. Fox News definitely ain't going to talk about it. Even your local outlets are not going to talk about it. They're just going to keep putting up there and showing these images of mainly black people, because that's all I've been seeing all day. And I'm recording this on December 14th, 2020, on a Monday. That's all I've been seeing is black people getting, the vaccine. And they're going to keep pushing that out there. And the more they push that out, the more they're going to bury this story. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next one.